Bitcoin ETFs are at a new all-time high, which leads Bitcoin to finally break its downtrend channel. The question is it time to test a new all-time high, or is this just another lower high in the multi-month long downtrend? Also, since Bitcoin went up, I was completely wrong on my Bitcoin prediction, but I still managed to make money as we are up about $77 on our running bots. So let's go ahead, check out the facts, how our bots are doing, and where I think Bitcoin will be going in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks. So let's go ahead and check out what Bitcoin did last week. So last week, again, I was predicting that Bitcoin will remain in this downtrend channel. It's also why in the first episode I started creating a short grid bot, right? But unfortunately, I was completely wrong on my prediction as Bitcoin showed a lot of strength and it pushed up to this liquidity pool that we identified right about $66,500. You can see it completely pushed through, broke the downtrend channel, and then what I really like to see is this retest of the liquidity pool. So a very, very common pattern you will see when a pair breaks its resistance is something like this. So it breaks the resistance, it retests the resistance as a support level, and this is very crucial because if it holds this support level, you can definitely expect it to go a bit further up or at least try to push further up, right? And then at every resistance, you will see something like this. You will see a breakthrough, or you of course will see a fail. But if it breaks through, it will typically end with a retest of the resistance and it will basically be tested and switched into a support. So the reason why Bitcoin pushed through this downtrend channel is actually very simple. We just have to look at how much the ETFs bought, right? So if we look at last week, then every single day we had net positive inflows and they weren't even small. So on Monday we had 555 million, Tuesday 371, Wednesday 458, and then so on. So always multi-$100 million buys from the ETFs, and they have now reached a new all-time high in net assets of around $66 billion worth of Bitcoin. And of course, the ETFs heavily influence the Bitcoin, so Bitcoin pushed through the downtrend channel. Now again, if we look at the liquidation heat map, the two liquidity pools that we have identified right around 70,000 and about the previous all-time high, they still remain. So in my opinion, of course, you can't really predict the ETF buys, so we're just going to remove them from this equation right now. Of course, they can influence the entire market. So if next week there are huge outflows, of course, Bitcoin will go down. But if the huge inflows remain, well, then Bitcoin will go up. But we're going to just ignore the ETFs completely because you can't predict them. But from a technical standpoint, what I expect to happen is that we definitely at least test one liquidity pool. So this one around $70,000. Definitely think we can see that in the next couple of days, definitely this week. And then again, this is very crucial. What's going to happen? Are we going to break through and retest as support? Or are we going to go up and simply fail and remain in this downtrend? So this right here, this liquidity pool, I think is very essential in determining where we will go next. If we manage to break through it and we retest the support, then we'll definitely test the liquidity pool around the previous all-time high, which sits around like $72 to $73, $74,000. And then again, what you definitely want to see is it breaking through, testing a support, confirming the support, because then we'll have enough strength to go up even further, right? If we break through, we retest the support and it fails, well, I think we'll probably go sideways a bit, which can be good for Gripbot setup, and then we'll retest it again. But we could also be rejected heavily and then just remain in this downtrend. So basically what I'm saying is that I really don't know. I can't predict where we're gonna go, and nobody can. That's like the essence. But you can definitely plan for every single scenario and then lay out what you want to do with it, right? So with GripBots, I actually think this is very easy to do because most of the time you set up a GripBot, let it run for a couple of weeks. So on Bitcoin specifically, I'm not looking for any GripBot setup right now, but I want to watch next week and see what happens. If we test this liquidity pool and then we manage to go sideways because we get rejected, well, that's a GripBot setup. If we just push through everything, there's no GripBot setup. But also if we remain in this downtrend channel or in this bigger downtrend, very difficult to spot the grip bot setup. So for now on Bitcoin, it's just a waiting game. We're just going to wait it out, see what happens. But again, in total, we're up about $77. So if we check out our trading bots, last week, I think we created a total of 4, if I'm correct, if I remember correctly, and only 2 of them are running. So let's have a look at the chart real quick. We had an Ethereum grip bot where we wanted to start it if it hits this level below, but unfortunately it didn't hit. You can see Bitcoin also pumped, of course, as Bitcoin pumped, and now it's at the upper end of the range, so no grip bot for us. But it's a good thing because we would have been correct if it went down. We could have also started it, but again, I don't like to use a lower risk to reward ratio. I'm still gonna leave it up for now, and it would only delete the limit order if it definitely breaks above our take profit. If it remains in this range, I wouldn't mind it going down to our limit order and then just starting Gripbot from there. It's the same with BNB. So BNB still remains in the range, but it's at the upper end of the range. Didn't hit our limit order, but again, I'm gonna leave it up because maybe it will remain in the range, go a little bit lower, and then we're gonna start it up from here. Let's come to our open bots. So we have Solana. Solana pretty similar to both BNB, ETH, and Bitcoin. So overall, Solana remains in its big range. Of course, it has been pumping with the market. That's why on Solana, we're up about 30%, which is about $61 right now. Nothing to do here. It's a perfect setup. We started it with a good risk to reward ratio. It's remaining in the range. Nothing to do, just gonna wait it out. Basically the same for DOT. So DOT still remains nicely in its range. Of course, it pumped together with every other coin. So we're up about 35%, which is about $70. Also, nothing to do. We're just gonna wait it out, see what happens, let the Gripbot do its thing. I also have analyzed a couple other coins, something like AVAX and ORDI, but as the market pumped the last week, it's really hard to spot setups with a good risk to reward. So for today, we're not gonna create any new Gripbot. We're just gonna wait it out and see what happens with our 2 active Gripbots right now, and then see where Bitcoin has next, and we'll definitely spot probably a good setup in the next couple of weeks.